Testing. 1, 2. Testing. What is up, Midnight Tokers, Afternoon Inhalers, and AM Hookah Smokers? This is the AM Hookah Podcast. 1, 2. Freaking what is up, Midnight Tokers? What is going on? Inhalers,
Matt, mute your computer.
I did. The AM Hookah Podcast. What is going on? We're in a loop. What is going on? What? I did. The AM Hookah Podcast.
Oh, Matthew. Are you recording
I don't know what's going on. Found it.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
Matt, what the hell?
That was literally the biggest.
Episode 7, Season 3. This is your fucking fault.
That was the largest technical difficulty I think we've ever had. I don't know. Bar close to the top, I would say at this point. My God. How's everybody doing? What is up, Midnight Tokers, Afternoon Inhalers, and AM Hookah Smokers? This is... Okay, good. It didn't keep going. The AM Hookah Podcast, your weekly hookah podcast every Monday right here on YouTube and twitch.tv/AM Hookah at 6:30 Central Standard Time, talking about the whole world of hookah. Joined with me, I'm Matt, the M in the AM Hookah, and joined with me, as always, is the man who always dents packs first and asks questions later, Adrian Hunter. How you doing, Adrian?
Oh, man. I'm deaf because the audio was on for that, so that was awful. I'm pretty sure anyone listening with headphones is also deaf.
Apologies.
We couldn't figure out audio at the beginning of the show because I think Matt broke his computer. I don't know what's going on. I'm doing good, man. Hanging out. It's Monday. We do the podcast on Monday, so, you know.
Yes.
I'm here.
We do the podcast on That is a true statement and fact that you just said. I like that. So... we haven't talked about it for a little while, but let's talk about it just very briefly. We have a couple of other really cool ways to find us on the internet besides just right here on the podcast, obviously. One of the cool things that I want to direct people over to is the Instagram page. We have a really, really cool Instagram page with a lot of interesting things. There's setup pictures, there's mix pictures, there's merchandise pictures. There's a whole bunch of different stuff over there. How can people find us? I'm going to get my Kohl's real quick. Can you tell everyone how to find us on Instagram, Adrian?
Yeah, it's exactly as intuitive as you would think. You just go to Instagram and look for AM Hookah Podcast. The main thing you want to look for is any pictures we have of Paul up wearing the AM hoodie. It's not so much about the AM hoodie as it is about Paul and his face. While Matt's getting Kohl's, because apparently he was unprepared, I'm sitting here with 3 Prestige. These are going to be the cubes in my little coal burner. I got 2 in the Provost right now. I'm not supposed to tell you what I'm smoking just yet because Matt's going to prompt that question, and we are slaves to our format. So,
we are slaves.
Welcome back, Matt.
Hello, how's it going? I hope everything got squared off pretty good right there. So yeah, you talked about the Instagram. Also, don't forget about the Twitter account. I don't know if you spoke about that as well, but we have a Twitter account. Just go to twitter.com, search AM Hookah Podcast, and you'll find us there. We like to be in as many places as we can so you guys can reach out and talk to us in as many possible ways as you can, obviously. Going off of the Instagram post, there's also merchandise. This is a shameless plug real quick. We do have merchandise that you guys are more than willing to participate in if you would like to. ! Merch is how you find that stuff, and it brings you straight to a link to do that. And then, we have some more fun and exciting things to talk about when it comes to that sort of thing in just a little while. Obviously, I heard Adrian speaking very briefly about Prestige Bubbles Charcoal. No, I didn't. You didn't say anything about that. I swear you said Jumbo Flats.
No,
cubes.
You should talk about them. I haven't talked about them yet.
Well, we'll get there very, very soon. Let's go ahead and check in with our producer real quick and see if Bracken Cox is ready to pull his hair out
Brackdaddy.
All this craziness that is happening. Mr. Bracken Cox, our producer on this AM Hookah Podcast, how are you doing this week?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking.
We're happy that you're doing well. We had some technical difficulties. Let me ask you, Bracken, as a producer on a podcast, national level podcast, as actually international, technically, anyone can watch this. What goes through your mind when there starts to be all these technical difficulties and stuff?
I automatically think about our shows that we host every Friday night called Technical Difficulties. If you aren't already a fan, you need to watch it. It's our second most popular show. And It's awesome. We named it Technical Difficulties as an inside joke for all of you AM Hookah Podcast heads out there. And every time something goes wrong or every time something doesn't go wrong, we can blame it on, hey, guess what? This is an ad for our show. We're sponsoring ourselves. So if you don't already have it done, next to the subscribe button, there's a bell. Hit the bell. That'll notify you when we're going to go live. And that's the best way to watch our Friday and our Wednesday night show because those shows have a very flexible time on them. And you'll always know if you have it hit. Also, are you subscribed? Because if you're not, you should be. Matt, what's our subscriber count up to?
We actually just got somebody new that subscribed to us. We really do appreciate everyone that is, but we're at 280 subscribers, which is a super exciting number because we're getting closer and closer to a larger number based on the fact that we get more numbers building up. You know, Bracken, there's this famous saying, would you rather have $100,000 today or would you rather have a penny that doubles every single day? Which one would you choose?
I did the math, and I would take a penny that doubles every day.
Every day.
I'll take a half of a penny that doubles every day.
Yes,
actually.
Exactly.
You multiply 0.01 by 31 times, and you get a number that's over 10 million, it turns out. Why are you talking about that?
Because it takes one person on top of one person on top of one person. The sub count grows like that penny grows. I had a reason to this. That's sort of
everybody right now that is subscribed goes and tells their friend who they've smoked hookah with, hey, these guys, Matt and Adrian, they put on this really cool podcast. They talk about hookah. They talk about other stuff, but mainly hookah. Go subscribe. Then we'll hit 500 by the end of February. And let's do it. If we hit 500 by the end of February, we'll have to figure out how to do something cool. I'm just saying.
We would have a drunk podcast for the end of February. Like, it would be a celebration that we would do, obviously. Something like that. So, what is up, Badia? Badia's in the chat right now. How's it going? There's some cool and exciting stuff going on, obviously. But the biggest part about this is just to say, hey, don't forget to like the podcast, share the podcast, tell your friends about the podcast, exactly what our wonderful producer did. But, Bracken, before we let you go, we have one more very important question. Is what are you going to be smoking on for this episode of the AM Hookah Podcast?
So currently, in my bowl, I have a concoction. I mixed tobacco. So you write it down. I mixed a little bit of Trifecta Dark Leaf Dirty Mint. Mm-hmm. I also did a little bit of a very exclusive, impossible to get tobacco, Boboro Backer, the absinthe flavor. It is so good. And I had to mix it because if I smoke it straight, I will be asleep on the floor before the end of the podcast. And I have things that I need to do during the podcast. So I had to mix it with something that wasn't going to put me on my back.
We're going to try something that sounds like a very interesting mix. I hope one day to try this Bro Backer tobacco, or maybe just the Tangiers version of absinthe. I think that'd be good as well. I'm very exciting. Hey, I got a question for you guys, or not a question, but a request for you guys. Today during the podcast, if you guys would like to tell us what you are smoking, type in hashtag AM Mix. AM Mix, even if it's a single flavor, AM Mix, and then put down what you're smoking, what it is that you have. We'll try to get as many of those comments in. But what are you guys smoking? Let us know. For this podcast today, we're going to be talking about a lot of huge news that happened, huge news that's going on in the industry today with new products and more. And how about we go over some troubleshooting tips for some new brands or new tobaccos or maybe a new flavor that you've never had before. And then why not go all the way back to some basic stuff as well and talk about maybe cleaning or not cleaning hookah and just kind of go over that kind of stuff. So we have a fun-filled show, a lot of stuff, a lot of information. But before we get all that stuff started, let's go over what it is that we are smoking. And what we are smoking is actually brought to you all in part thanks to Prestige Bubbles Coconut Charcoal. This is so... Watching you do this is so hypnotizing, Adrian. I don't even know what's going on right now. What are you doing? Are you getting some? Is that beer or wine? I can't tell.
It's this is called 19 Crimes. It's a local Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm a big fan of it.
You're such a bougie person right now. This seems very bougie. Is it not bougie?
I mean, it's a $20 bottle of wine. I wouldn't call it super bougie, but it's definitely
a little
something.
A little bougie. Okay.
Today's drink pairing is brought to you by Michigan Wine.
The drink pairing, I'm gonna shout out the wonderful people over at Hookah University real quick. They did this awesome show called The Beer Garden. I don't know if you saw that, but it was absolutely fantastic by Jeremy and David. Very cool stuff where they took hookah, they took beer, and they paired them together and talked about it. I thought it was a super cool idea. Hopefully we can talk to Jeremy about that very shortly because I think it is absolutely fantastic. But what we are smoking is actually brought to you thanks to Prestige Jumbo Flat. At least that's what I'm using right now. It is Prestige Bubbles. Coconut Charcoal is who the actual brand is. They're sponsoring the rest of the season, this segment right now of what it is that we are smoking. We love these coals. I've loved them for a very long time. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Only bring the good vibes. They're just a super well-made quality charcoal. If you did not know, you can go down to our description right now, and you can follow the Amazon affiliate link and score yourself some of these charcoal, buy them through Amazon, and it's actually going to really, really help the show out. We have an Amazon affiliate link down there, so if you guys are looking for charcoal anyways, if you're planning on buying charcoal anyways, head on down to that description. You can either go to the link for the Jumbo Flats or the Cubes, get yourself some charcoal, especially if you're already looking for charcoal. They're very good. I like them a lot. But let's go into what we're actually smoking. So Adrian, besides what it is that you are drinking, what are you actually smoking in that beautiful white matte pear at the moment?
Today, in my beautiful white matte pear, I have this mix of 50% Tangiers Burley Earl Grey and 50% Tangiers Burley Earl Grey, and it needs a Provost adjustment. 2 cubes in the Provost, as I may or may not have mentioned already, and stock hose and the Lux base. It's real good. Needs more heat, so I did that.
One of these days, I'm going to have the hookah on display just like you do. You do such a good job at that.
Yeah, man. Well, maybe, I see you. The nice people see you with a yellow brick background. I see your fucking shitty green screen. And man, I think people are more interested in the hookah, man.
What do you guys
think? Or maybe
you
put your hookah on a different camera and put that as your green screen.
Just like over the corner of it, basically. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to see the hookah in the shot whenever I'm smoking? Let me know in the comments. Let us know. Drop those down there, and we'll try to get those in as quickly as possible. Do you guys want to see the hookah that I'm using? Today I'm using the McLeod Mist Dezen hookah, the Matt Dezen hookah, as I like to call it. I am using a Goodfella version 4 bowl. I'm smoking some Trifecta peppermint shake. I'm smoking some Sherbetli pistachio ice cream. And I'm smoking some Azor blonde leaf horchata. Viva la horchata. I'm having a dessert bowl before I even have dinner because I like to have my sweets before I like to have my food. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm having a dessert bowl while we hang out and chill, using 3 of my Jumbo Flats, obviously. Did you say you're also using the flats or you're using the cubes? Is that what you said?
Provost, the cubes are great. Rami, Matt in a moment is going to ask us about new videos. So I'll talk more about that in a moment. But to touch on the Prince of Grey, yeah, I buzz. I don't smoke a lot of Tangiers Burley, but I do now because I have this 250-gram container of Prince of Grey that you sent up to me so kindly, and I love it. It tastes like an Earl Grey flavor. I would think that you would get more tobacco notes because it's a tea flavor, but to be honest, it's very Earl Grey tea, kind of citrusy, spice forward, as opposed to being tobacco forward, which would be weird. You'd think would be weird because it's burley, it's more tobacco-y, but it's just a really nice Earl Grey flavor. And 10 out of 10 would recommend. Spoiler alert.
Oh boy, I'm excited to hear more about this. Some of these, it's amazing. Tangiers has been around for such a long time, obviously, but there's such a wide variety of flavors that it's easy to forget that there is like a flavor profile that you may like or may enjoy, and you didn't even realize that it's actually there. It's kind of crazy how that works, I think, in a lot of ways. Very interesting, I think. So we do have a lot of people smoking in the chat, obviously, some of the first ones that pop out. Hookah Feen coming in crazy by not smoking the double apple. I don't know what's going on. Well, I mean, she is they are smoking, I apologize, they are smoking the double apple, but they're using a mixture with the peppermint shake with Nakla 2 apples. What do you think about that, Adrian? A little bit of anise flavor with a peppermint flavor. How does that sound to you?
Nakla 2 apples is not an anise forward double apple. It's an earthy herbal forward double apple.
Okay.
That said, probably beautiful. It pairs great with a Flocker double apple. I would even say go a step further. Mix up your 250 of El Flocker double apple and your 250 of Nakla double apple. Mix those together in a bowl. Half that, half peppermint shake. Ooh.
Do the 4 apple peppermint shake, the 4 apples? The 4 apples
4
peppermint
apples.
shakes.
4 apples, 1 peppermint.
All
in a
shooken.
bowl.
All shooken. That's
Shaken, not stirred.
Exactly. That's how you get that name tag going on right there. We also have Badia smoking some lemon ginger with lemon ginger. Badia is going crazy out of this world. Careful, watch out what you do. You might break the universe with that mix. Lemon ginger with lemon ginger. Be very careful with that, kids. Be careful. How is that wine pairing up with your smoking at the moment?
Exactly like I wanted it to. This is not my first time doing this.
Oh, okay.
It's very, very good. If you're a wine enthusiast, you know what a Cabernet. You know what you're going to get for most of your Cabernets. And if you've had Tangier's Prince of Grey, you know what you're getting.
Let's see. So let's go ahead and jump over. We are going to be talking about new reviews, new videos that we have out. I haven't actually put anything out this week. I'm working on a video that I should hopefully have out by the end of this week, but nothing as of the last time that we recorded. So going off of that, Adrian, do you have a new video that is going to be dropping anytime soon?
Not 1, not 2.
Uh-oh.
But 14. There's going to be a daily series coming out, probably starting tomorrow. Of the series is the I think it's Desert High Smoke. Is that the name of the shop? My notes aren't with me. Rami sent me out a bunch of tobacco, and after smoking all of it, about half of everything he sent me, I've decided, well, I don't hate any of this stuff, and I was going to review it even if I hated it. But since I like everything, I'm doing a series that's just going to be 14 reviews back to back, all on the stuff that he sent me. You can expect some Azure Dark, some Tangiers, Nor, and Burley, some Messiah, and some Zoma. It's going to be good.
You can call it the Romney Box series. Without, I don't know, how's that flow? Does that work? I'm sure everything's probably already done. You may not have
Don't
time.
you ever tell me how to name shit on my channel, Matthew.
I can't name stuff here. I definitely don't want to take your naming as well.
I actually haven't decided on a name yet. None of the tags are done or anything, but they will be.
Romney actually says that, Adrian, I'm going to send you a kilo of Alfaca grape to pair with your wine. How would that be? Some ketchup with your wine.
You want to do that? You can do that. I can think of a few things I could do in my video format with a kilo of alpaca grape. None of it includes smoking it.
Just throwing it all against the wall, just one after another, just handfuls of it, basically.
I'd probably make a sandwich out of it.
Ugh, don't say that. Put it on some ham or some turkey. I don't know.
Put it on a hot dog.
There you go.
Ketchup anyway.
It's red. It's dyed red, so you're fine. It'll look natural. It'll look natural.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's what we have coming up for you. I got no videos at the moment. Adrian's going to have a bunch of stuff coming up in the future. Make sure you subscribe to Pipe Dream Hookah right here on YouTube. Matt Dezen on YouTube as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the news, the breaking news that we have. This is kind of sponsored / partnered up with THL. We are hanging out with them for a little while. We're doing some cool stuff with them with a partnership. They have the New York Gala actually going on very shortly. It's coming up every day, gets a little bit closer in May. I'm going to be in New York City for my very first time. I'm super excited. What is up, Kyle Smith? Always nice to see you. Robert is here as well, so nice to see you as well. I'm super excited to go to New York. Very first time, never been there before. Can't wait. I think it's going to be a blast, obviously. But THL's doing this huge lifestyle push. They're doing this elevated swag. They have some cool merchandise they're going to start pushing and stuff. They have 3 different shows that they do. Obviously, State of the Smoke. A lot of people already know about that one. The Payday Podcast, which is kind of an interesting show. If you haven't checked it out, go and see their YouTube channel. And then Into Valhalla, which is like this documentary series about Vikings and stuff. Kind of cool as well. But make sure you go and check out THL. They have a lot of fun stuff going on as per usual. But let's...
If you're anything like me, the Payday Podcast comes on Friday right after Technical Difficulties. Have a marathon. You're not going on Fridays. I know which one of you sits down on Friday and watches either Matt or I fuck with hookah tobacco. We're all lame. We like to sit in our houses and smoke on Fridays. Double down.
Sometimes that's what happens. The Payday Podcast is on the 1st and the 15th of every month, so it kind of rotates. It's been at the end of
every other one.
Yeah, it's been at the end of the Gamecast before. It's been at the end of Technical Difficulties before. So you can catch it in a whole bunch of different places and stuff. So just kind of pay attention and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know that the moment that they go live and the moment that we go live, sub here as well. Obviously, share, like, all that fun stuff as per usual. But let's get into some news. So in just a little while, you're going to be seeing this graphic pop up over on your side of the spectrum. But Hookah John still has a little bit more time going on right now with their President's Day sale. If you're looking to score a very cool deal, 20% off his entire store. All you got to do is type in Trump 20, and you'll get 20% off the entire store. Very cool discount going on. Wanted to shout it out because it's still Monday. It's still going on. And if you haven't got anything, now is the time to go and get it. I just recently got some tobacco, so I wish I would have waited. I didn't even think that there was going to be a President's Day sale, so I had no idea to hey, I'm probably still going to go over there and get something as is. I love that when these vendor sites do these kinds of sales and stuff, Adrian. Do you notice you waiting for sales to happen ever so often to get a large batch of tobacco, or do you just kind of order when you are in the need of ordering? How do you do it?
There's stuff that I need to have on hand, period, and if I don't, I get it. Regardless. That's kind of how it works. I'm more of a I waste a lot of money.
It's not a waste. It's for your hobby. It's for your hobby, right? It's for your hobby.
Yeah. That's a good way to. That's what I tell my girlfriend too.
All right.
She goes, "How much did you just spend at Hookah John? Don't worry about it. It's not important."
Don't worry. It's all fine. It's all fine. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about this right now. This is, you're going to be seeing this graphic in just a second, Adrian. This is the brand new Hookah John Hookah. I don't even want to try to pronounce it because I know I'm going to ruin the name of it, but it's the
Seoka.
The Seoka. See, we're all.
Saoka.
This is the Hookah John, brand new hookah, modern hookah. It looks very cool, I think. The picture that I'm showing off right now is a gold and black variant. I think this looks really cool. He also posted a picture of this on top of one of his Checkmate vases, as you'll be seeing in just a little while. Very cool stuff coming out. Adrian, what are your initial thoughts of this hookah? Obviously, Bracken has one. We've talked to him a little bit about it and stuff, but where are you on your level of excitement when it comes to this hookah for yourself?
That color matches my initiate you can see back there in black and gold very well. And I feel like I need to pick it up just so I can have a brother.
That's enough of a reason to buy a new hookah.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
I know that our producer Bracken actually attained a Seoka hookah. And he seems to be a fan. We've been posting some pictures up on the Instagram. Go check it out. But I haven't smoked out of it yet. But from what I've heard from people that I trust very, very much, it seems like a hookah that's worth picking up. I'm looking at it right now. Paired with that is, what is that, a boho? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just do that. Like, that just looks good. I'm probably going to pick one up for testing purposes.
It's very, I think they look pretty cool. I like that they're something that looks a little bit different than what's normally out in the wild and stuff. I like the sleekness to it, reminiscent to me of like my Carbon One Stem. I like the modernization of that and stuff. So like, I like the simplicity to it. I think the tray looks really cool. It seems like it's a pretty heavy hookah. Bracken, our producer, is it a pretty heavy hookah for the most part? I know you have like a prototype version of it because that's what he sold. Is it very heavy?
No, it's not heavy at all. But
it's 61. It's aluminum.
Yeah. It's not heavy in weight, but the build quality's there. So it's got beefy threads. When the tray attaches, the tray doesn't really wobble. So they kind of designed it to be very sturdy. But at the same time, in my opinion, it weighs almost the same as the Neural Hose. I've had some debate with people. Maybe I'll put it on a scale. But it's not super heavy as far as weight. But it does have that like solid build quality.
It's made of 6061 T6 aluminum aircraft grade metal. Mm-hmm. Same thing they make the Aviator out of, and that metal's straight up designed to be both durable and like light enough to fly. So
it has to be decently light as well. So I want to ask everybody in the chat, obviously, and please let us know. We'll be monitoring the chat right now to find out your guys' comments and thoughts about it. What do you guys think about this thing? What are your guys' initial thoughts on it? Are you interested in picking one of these up? Do you think they look very cool? Is it something that you want to add to your collection? Where do you guys stand on the Seoka Hookah by Hookah John, coming out very shortly, hopefully sooner than later? Obviously, we've been hearing about this since the last part of last year.
The detail. I mean, okay, so the bowl port, the stem, and the down stem are black, but he's got this gold color going on for not just the tray and the heart, but even the diffuser is gold. It's such a beautiful contrast. Yes. I don't know. I really like that, especially with like that particular boho where it is a clear boho with gold and black, and you can see the gold diffuser through the boho. That's just porn. That's hookah porn. That looks very good. I like that quite a lot. Yeah, I think I need to spend however much that setup costs.
That's going to not be a cheap setup with that boho obviously on there. Don't know the exact price. I know that the pre-release price was like $150 or maybe it was $120 or something like that. I don't quite remember what the pre-release price was, but I know it's going to cost a little bit more money than that, obviously. Interested to see exactly what the price are going to go up with either the stem by itself or the stem and a vase combo. How he's going to do all that will be kind of interesting, especially for bundles and things. But if you guys are interested in getting this hookah, let us know what you guys think about it. Is it something you are interested in at all?
Do you think that there's some inspiration from the Russian market in this hookah? Because I did just see the comment by Justin. He wishes this stem had more shape. Kind of basic, but he loves the tray. And it's very minimal looking, which is something we see a lot of coming out of Russia right now. And I wonder if that was intentional or not. I don't know. John, obviously, he's a smart dude. He knows what he's doing. But I wonder if he took any inspiration there in the design.
It'd be interesting to find out for sure. We'll have to ask him. We'll have to get some comments from him, see exactly where he pulled his inspiration from it. It's obviously the purge is actually inside of the heart itself. It's not an outward purge, it's an inward purge, so that the actual smoke comes from the heart itself. There's been some debate, comments. People have spoke about the fact that it's a very noisy purge.
It's the steel ball bearing,
yes,
right?
Yes, the ball bearing.
There is the option to get a plastic one. I think actually all the non-pre-order ones come with a plastic ball bearing.
Oh, okay.
And like this, the matte pair, you can't hear that. It's not because the purge is so amazing. I mean, it's a good purge, but there's a plastic BB in there.
Okay.
And so when it drops back down, you can't really hear that.
So it's an easy fix too. If you get a steel BB, then you can just replace it with a plastic BB, and you're going to help that noise reduction quite a bit, obviously. So there's another piece of news that actually dropped recently. I don't know if you heard about this or not, Adrian, but it looks like Mason is going to be coming out with a new product. It's not a tip. It's not a hose. It's not a hookah. But it is a beautiful, and I want to stretch this. I think it is actually a very, very pretty looking vase. Vases. Yeah. I think they look really cool. I think they're very awesome.
I'm going to cut you off and talk about the elephant in the room.
And
its name is $130 starting price.
That is the starting price, yes.
That is something that needs to be addressed, because if you want a boho, which is what all of us in this enthusiast community, most of us at least, think is like the magnum opus of bases, the best base you can buy, they tend to gravitate towards $100. So there are some bohos, like I think maybe some Agremans cost much more than 130. But for the most part, you can get like regular old Bell bohos for about $100, $110 shipped. So that's a thing. So I think it's going to come down to build quality. But these bases, I haven't seen an American producer making bases like this. And if I know anything about this community, it's that we all have some amount of disposable income to spend, because look what we're doing right now. And I might get one. Like I've been critical of Mason in the past about the price points, but it looks like a lot of care went into making these. So I'm going to hold my opinions. Normally I'd start price bashing, but those look really good. There might be a very good reason for them to be the price that they are.
They are made in America. They're made in Ohio, actually, by a artisan that's down there that actually blows the glass and everything.
Really? Not Chicago?
Not Chicago. There's going to be multiple different styles that get released every single month. I spent a little time and spoke to Nino about it, Mason a little bit, to get some more information about these. The colors are going to change every month. The styles are going to change every month. So there's going to be some different variations every single month. And then he's going to see what's kind of people are liking to decide what he wants to continue making. So I hate the trope of like, hey, you better get what you like before it's gone, but you may need to do that. And I'll be honest, this style, which is not 100% like a genie vase, it's kind of a mixture of that.
It's like a teardrop, kind of.
Yes, exactly. And I would love to get a teardrop vase. This one that's going to pop up on your screen here shortly, Adrian, is the one that I've really been eyeballing. It's that blue one. It's very beautiful. I love the curvature to it. I love the style and the twist of it. It is $135. That's the starting price, meaning that there could be some vases that are more. Or none that are going to be less, but that is going to be the most that we're going to see starting price, and then they're going to go up, obviously.
I hope. Do you know if he's branding them with Mason's logo?
I haven't seen any Mason logo anywhere.
Maybe I bought a Mason logo on this base because it's kind of like Gucci or Versace, whatever the fuck you buy to like show people that you're better than them. Mason kind of has that thing going, and this is not Nino's intention. I'm not speaking for Nino, but people who own, like, I have my Onyx Bowl, and I've ragged on the Onyx Bowl, but now I show my Onyx Bowl off because it's a fucking Onyx Bowl. I would almost love it if it's not on there already, if they would put the Mason logo on there, just so you could be like, this is the Mason base. It's $130. Don't worry about it. I have it.
Mason is slowly creating the entire hookah that you would ever need. I would love to see or ask if one day he's planning on actually coming out with a full-on hookah, because now we have the vase, we have the bowl that we've had for a long time. There's a hose tip. The only thing that's missing is that centerpiece right there, which would be a hookah. It'd be interesting to find out if that's ever in his plans or something that he would love to do one day in the future or something like that. It's definitely interesting. I've definitely enjoyed seeing the amount of comments that have come out from it. What about you guys in the chat? What do you guys think about these vases? Is this something that you're interested in picking up? What are your thoughts?
Blue matte pair, that base, that onyx bowl, blue soft touch silicone hose.
Golden. You would need nothing else. That would be your entire setup for who knows how long. That sounds...
I'm going to get my Lotus power coated in powder blue.
That would be pretty phenomenal, actually. It would match so very nicely. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what vases come out, what styles come out, all that kind of stuff, obviously. Is this something you guys are interested in picking up? Do you like the idea of getting something that's high grade of glass made in America, and then also something that's obviously, I think this is definitely for Mason fanboys. I'm not going on a stretch for saying that. Like, this is definitely going to retain very easily with anyone that loves the Mason products, the Mason family of stuff. Like, this is one more Mason product to add into your lineup, and I think that's very cool that you have this kind of company in the hookah industry that is capable of creating so many different products, and you can build your perfect setup with those sort of things. I think that's kind of cool, personally.
Coming back down to earth, these aren't going to perform better than your $20 bell bases.
No.
Sorry. This is for you people who like to collect shit, like, for the sake of, like, collecting. That's what this is for.
Very much.
I'm going to waste money. Like, oh well.
Let us know in the chat what you guys think about it. Is it something that you are interested in picking up? But yeah, I think they are pretty interesting. They're definitely kind of cool. Justin says that it's a bit overpriced. Makes me want to find my own glass blower and get into the market. Do it. Let's see what.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that kind of stuff. Let's find out what people like to make and what are going to do. My wife says that they're beautiful. She thinks that they're very nice. Does that mean that I'm going to get one in the future? I don't know. Hookah University says hard pass to buy a base over 75 that isn't boho crystal. Interesting.
And that's
logic.
an angle.
Interesting logic.
That's an absolute angle. That's kind of what I was alluding to at first, is that 100 bones buys you a boho. Entry-level boho, unless you find it on a crazy sale, right? This needs to have a stellar build quality, because unless it's made of the glass they make bohos out of, it's not going to be a better material. So I'm looking for, like, straight-up flawless build quality, as well as it being made locally in America by Mason Shisha, where there's something to be said there as well. Yeah. But yeah, in a way, I can definitely see a Hookah Uni's angle. 10 out of 10.
Raul says, give me a freaking Eggman at that price. Makes sense. You can't debate that. I think that makes total sense, obviously. Is this for everybody? I don't think so. Is this for a certain type of smoker or person? I think that it is. I think that there is a place in the market for this type of thing.
People are going to buy them. They're going to sell out. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, so. I think so. I think that this is I think this will be a good product made by Mason. So let's go ahead and jump into our topic of discussion for the day. The very first thing we're going to be touching on is testing new stuff. Me and Adrian, as being reviewers, we are privy to testing out a lot of stuff that sometimes isn't even on the market yet, which is always kind of fun and interesting. But sometimes it can be a little difficult if it's completely brand new brand or something that's outrageous or different completely, like I did with the cigar, for instance, or what I'm doing right now with Nirvana's Eclipse line and stuff. Sometimes you don't know exactly what you should do, but there's like a methodology to how we like to test out new products. So I wanted to ask you, Adrian, what is the first thing you do when you get a new product? Be it tobacco, be it a coal, what is the first step into trying a new product?
Looking at its packaging seems really simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just true. There are flawed packages that make you do extra work, and that goes into how you grade a tobacco, when most of the tobaccos we have today are pretty high caliber.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, you've got Azure versus Trifecta is a big thing we've talked about on the show before, being very similar quality products that are both made right here in the States, and they are boutique brands, I guess you could call them. Okay. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Trifecta because I can open the can and use it. Azure involves me having to go to IKEA to buy Tupperwares, because I'm not going to use that bag, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big first impressions thing for me, is taking a look at what the actual packaging is. It seems silly. It doesn't seem like it should be a part of how your tobacco performs. But when you open as many 250s as I think most of us do per week, per month, however often you smoke, it's a factor. And I only want to wash my hands when I have to, because I'm a disgusting neckbeard boy.
That makes total sense. I get where you're coming from. First impressions are a very big thing. It actually goes back to the first time that I tried Nirvana Eclipse, and I noticed just how sticky it was, and I didn't like the way that the actual tobacco leaf felt, right? It was like, this doesn't feel like something I would want to deal with on a regular basis. And then go all the way around with that same sort of idea, and the KFC line from Alchemist, I thought did a really good job with their packaging, as you were saying, because they come with their own packaging, and then also, or their own container, I mean, and then also the tobacco itself just had this very nice feel to it. I mean, it had this very easy to manipulate, very easy to pack, and just all those kinds of things. And I think that does go quite a bit into it. One of the big components of packing your bowl is manipulating the tobacco, and the easier it is to manipulate tobacco in some capacity is definitely pretty useful in a lot of ways, obviously. What about you guys in the chat? I know that you guys buy stuff whenever you see something new that's on the market as well. What is your first impression? What do you look for? Do you look for smell? Do you look for taste? Do you look for the packaging like Adrian was talking about? Does any of that stuff matter to you? What is your guys' opinion when you first get a brand new product? What is one of the first things that you do? Adrian, now moving on to the next part of this topic, what are the worries that you might have when you get a new product of some kind, if you have any? Do you ever have like a checklist of sorts that you kind of like run down through your head, and you're like, oh, I hope it doesn't do this, or you're worried about an issue like this cropping up in some way?
Cut, scent, consistency.
Okay.
Cut is a huge issue. I don't want to have to chop my tobacco up. There have been a few companies that have been guilty of this. As much as I love Ugly, there was a period in Ugly's timeline where they made bad batches that were not cut. Mm-hmm. That's a big no-no for me. Like, I can't recommend that batch if you have to do extra work when you can just go get another comparable company's tobacco and not have to fuck with that, right?
Yes.
And then the scent, the perfect example is Azure Cali Blue. It smells like bleach. It does not smell good. It smells very bad. Now, after testing, like actually smoking the flavor and going through the process we all go through to try to figure out, hey, do I want to keep buying this stuff? Turns out it's actually just the best iteration of a blue mist flavor that exists.
Really?
It's just very, 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 very good in the dark line. But you need to leave that container open for a little while, because whatever they use to make that flavor, because it's a chemical flavor, like I'm not going to skate around that. That's not always a bad thing, though.
Yeah.
But the scent, I don't want it to smell like a cleaning product.
Yeah,
and then
completely.
There's also just consistency, like how sticky is it? Is the cut at least consistent? Stuff like that. That's stuff that happens before I even pack a bowl, where I'm making like these like first impressions on the tobacco. And this isn't even just a reviewer thing. I feel like anyone who enjoys this hobby probably goes through the same thing, whether they've taken the time to actually put it into words or not. I think we all do that.
Well, that's exactly what Paul just said in the chat, actually. He said that I look at the cut and the smell. I think those are very important things. Hookah Fiend says, I usually go with consistency of good tobacco like Trifecta, Azor, and Alpha Kama. So that can also be a hindrance, I think, at sometimes, where we get stuck on the idea that, like, oh, I don't want to go with something that is an unknown, right? And when you go with something that is an unknown, you're allowing yourself to, more or less be taken for a fool, or to not get something that you might enjoy. So it can be difficult at times to like go to something and then be like, oh no, this isn't all that good. I don't really want to deal with this now.
Yeah,
all those kinds
it's really important to go in without like keeping. You always have this like confirmation bias, right? Where everyone says this brand is good, so you try it and maybe you overlook some things that you wouldn't normally like. It's important to avoid that shit as well.
It happens. It happens.
I think I made that mistake with Starbuzz recently, their blonde line. While it's not the best blonde tobacco ever, I think they've got some killer flavors. Keep an eye out for the Starbuzz series over on Pipe Dream Hookah. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them as a boutique brand. I don't think their price point is justified at $21 or $250. But their flavors are not trash. A lot of the enthusiast community members, not Hookah Uni or anything, or like Hookah enthusiasts, but like just us enthusiasts in general, tend to like look at Starbuzz.
We write them off. right? We write them off a little bit, I think, because there's so many things on the market. It's like one of these things has to drop off, and like we've already dropped off things like Hookah Fina. We've already dropped off things like Hookah Freak and Hookah Hookah. We've dropped off things like Nakla. We've dropped off things like Alfaker. Like these things drop off, and then something else takes its place. And sometimes it's worth going back and realizing, hey, there's nothing wrong with this, right?
Yeah, the problem is we're a pretty niche community, growing, but it feels like we're in a pretty big room because we've got a frustrating echo chamber of people wanting to kind of repeat things that they hear and maybe sometimes go back and revisit shit. Like Alfaker is actually really good.
Yeah, they're fine.
I mean, I saw it earlier. The container for Alfaker is a selling point by itself. Not even getting into their price point and everything. It's a solid tobacco. They've got like 4 or 5 flavors that I think they do better than anybody else. So.
Something that Hookah University actually just said right now. Do you find yourself recommending products from batch to batch versus overall recommendation? And I think that's a tippy road. I mean, if you're recommending something based upon batches, you're kind of allowing something to be bad, which we don't want to do, right? I think ugly is actually a really good topic of discussion when it comes to this because everybody wants ugly to be good. I think everyone likes Jim as a person and they like the product overall, but we recognize that there's been bad batches in the past, and I think that stigma can sometimes be difficult to navigate over at times, but I do think that you should not have to recommend something based upon a batch-to-batch type mentality. We should only be recommending products as a whole and not as a like, hey, it might be good this time. That can be a little bit of a sketchy road at times, really.
It's just consumer confidence, right? Like that's just what it comes down to. Blanket statement. I love how this episode was titled "The Art of Hookah," but we're getting into some stuff that maybe we don't talk about as often as we should. And I like the conversation because I love Jim. I think he's one of the coolest guys in the industry and one of the coolest people in the community. Unfortunately, because he has struggled with bad batches, he needs to like have a year where he puts out nothing but hot fire before I think people will be like, oh, ugly. Because we're still so small that there's only room for like 5, 6, 7 tobacco brands to be like constantly talked about. Because you hear it all the time. Why doesn't anyone talk about X brand anymore? Or, hey, why do people stop talking about this hookah? And it's because like there's only so much bandwidth, right?
Yeah, there's only so much air that can be brought up into a room, obviously, and stuff. Somebody else said, I'm trying to see, I actually went and smoked some haze and Starbuzz Vintage this past weekend, is what Paul just said. Paul, what did you think of that haze? It's been a long time. My batch that I got of haze recently, I don't think there's anything wrong with it as a bad batch, but it was not something that I personally enjoyed all that much. There are new flavors that came out. There was nothing that like spoke to me precisely and said like, this is the must smoke or this is the greatest thing ever and stuff. So like I've still kept myself away from haze. I think Starbuzz Vintage is a very good line of products. I've had some very good smokes with them. The orange, the chocolate orange, I think is absolutely fantastic. Hookah Fiend says always go back to Alfaker mint, 2 apples, blueberry mint, and grapefruit mint. Very good flavors, obviously. Get yourself some Triforce and mix everything together. Get some grapefruit in there. Get some blueberry. Get some mint. Get all that good stuff.
And on the topic of Triforce.
Yeah.
Have you tried Ugly's Hookah Rush Triforce?
I have not. I need to get myself some of that.
So good. It is one of my favorite iterations of the Triforce, pre-mixed or not. But no one knows because, unfortunately, Jim fell into that bad batch.
That's what it seems like, at least. I smoked Carnival Nights and Quack Quack. What is Quack Quack? I've never heard of Quack Quack by Hayes. Have you ever heard of this one?
What do you think this is, guys? What does this look like to you?
Mouth tip of some kind.
Maybe No. I'm going for butt plug, but it's actually it's a replaceable wine cork. Anyway, sorry, Quack. Never fucking heard of that.
That sounds like the perfect duck game tobacco that I would smoke while playing duck game. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So I want to know more about what Quack Quack is. I've never heard of this haze flavor. Haze has some of the most unique names of all the different things in the world. Let's see. I was going to ask if you look for smell for any of the information. I think that's kind of a basic question, obviously. The very first thing that we do with tobacco is we open it up and we smell it. That's the first thing that you have to do, right?
My poor roommate, my poor friends who happened to be at my house at the time of a delivery, they go through the whole, hey, come here. Smell this new tobacco I got. And, like, they pretend to care. But really what they're thinking is, like, okay, fucking pack it. Like, Art Hookah monkey, pack the fucking hookah and bring it to us so we can smoke it. That's what they're thinking. But they what's the word for it? They condone it. They entertain me, and they smell the tobacco. But that's like it's like a ritual for me when I get something I haven't tried. I'm like, what does this smell like?
Yeah. I love knowing when I have new stuff coming, and then the moment that I get to open it up and smell it is always like the most fun time that I get to kind of experience exactly what it is that I'm going to be smoking and stuff. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I think that you can get a lot of things from the smell, both negative and positive, as you were speaking about earlier, right? Like you can smell something and have kind of a negative connotation of it, like you did with the Cali Blue, for instance.
Lemon flavors are common for that too.
Pine
a
Sol.
lot of the candied lemon flavors, Lemon Pledge, Pine Sol, they can have that effect. Tangiers is a big one. Even if your Tangiers doesn't need acclimation, which typically Tangiers does not need acclimation. Prestige Coco. Typically Tangiers does not need acclimation. But even when it doesn't need acclimation, you open it up, you sometimes pick up that soy sauce scent. Mm-hmm. That like a teriyaki sauce scent. And that goes away pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, you're probably safe to just pack it and smoke it. It's probably going to still smoke just fine.
Yeah.
But it's something that comes up sometimes for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just something that happens.
No, I agree completely. The smell that you get off of the very first indication of what you're going to be smoking sometimes is not always the most telling. So you have to kind of use it like a grain of salt, basically. Like you have to smoke it to know what you're actually going to get out of it. My wife just said, I always tell Matt that it just smells like shisha. They all smell the same. They do. They all smell the same to her. They all taste the same to her. I'm like, hey, you got to try this. It's wonderful. You're going to love it. And she smokes it and she's like, smokes like tobacco. I don't know. What do you expect to hear from me? I don't know.
Rachel says the same thing to me every time.
We're just far too nerdy about this. That's why we pick up those notes of different things, like a cardamom is in there, a little bit of nuttiness to it. But we're all a little bit nutty. By the way, Paul said that the Quack Quack mix tastes like frozen fruit mix is what it is. And he said that he actually picked it up solely for Duck Game. That is, in fact, why he purchased Quack Quack was for Duck Game, which I think is fantastic. Paul, we need to play some Duck Game, obviously, and get into it because that's going to be a fantastic time if you're smoking Quack Quack and I'm blowing your brains out. That sounded a little more aggressive than I intended it to, so I apologize. That sounded a little bit crazy.
After what you did to Bracken.
Yeah,
So you guys can't see him, but he's in our chat right now. I can see his fucking face. And it's gone.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine because Bracken actually made a huge comeback on the last technical difficulties. He scored all of his bowls back. He has way more than he ever even dreamed that he could. But I'm sure he would have been happy if he would have had like 95 more bowls. Would that have been nice, Bracken, if you would have had like 95 more bowls on top of the amount of bowls that you already... No, he doesn't even care. He's like, whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Let's see. Hookah University actually just posed a question that I wanted to read very quickly. Do you find yourself trying new products with friends to get objective results? That's fantastic. That's a good question. Adrian, no? You don't do that usually?
My friends have shit palates. I think my roommate has a deviated septum. I don't think he can actually smell. No, I don't. When I'm testing a product, I don't trust anyone that I smoke with more than myself to test the flavor because I smoke more than most people drink water.
Yeah.
So the answer to that's no. Now, my final test on a tobacco is after I've already had my own one-person echo chamber and made my decision, I will then gift my friend a hookah and a bowl and go, smoke this. And I won't say shit. I'll come back in an hour and a half. What do you think that was? I won't tell them what they're smoking. And then they'll tell me what's going on, and then I'll decide, okay, to a layman's palate, this is what it tastes like, and that's the last bit of information. But when you're objectively testing flavors, and like for Jeremy, it might be different. Maybe Jeremy or some of the guys from Hookah Uni have like a group of people that are hyper enthusiasts like that. Me, I got a bunch of people who just come over, so I pack them hookahs. They don't own anything. They don't. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, same here. I used to smoke a lot more with my friends. Just our lives have gotten a little bit more tangled and stuff, so we don't smoke as often. But like, I would always bring new flavors over to my friend's house and have their opinions and their thoughts on it. Kind of the same idea that you just said, like the layman's palate, right? Like, what does a non-enthusiast think about this flavor? And it's really interesting because sometimes they'll either taste something that I'm not noticing, and they'll say like, "Oh, this tastes amazing for this reason," or they'll say like, "It's great for this reason," or whatever the case may be. In other cases, it's completely different. Adrian, you look like you just saw a ghost.
Nah, man, this barely just hit me in a real good way. That's all.
Oh my goodness, your whole face just went white. I got nervous for a second.
The world flipped upside down for a second. I was just enjoying that moment.
Let's see. Steven just said let's see. LOL. I was almost afraid to come out. He was saying something. Oh, Twice the Ice. The first big whiff of Twice the Ice made my buddy's eyes water the very first time that he smelled that. I've never tried Twice the Ice Extreme. I need to try that. I need to try any of those big mints from Trifecta. I love the peppermint shake, obviously, and the hipster mint is fantastic. So I need to try some of these other ones as well.
Big recommend to be Death by Ice and Twice the Ice X. I think are really solid flavors. Twice the Ice X is less mint and more cold, but they're both very good.
Bracken, who is the last time I saw him? He made me lose 80. You made Naphael lose 80 bowls, is what Naphael's saying, Bracken, right now. Bracken, you made them lose 80 bowls, is what I'm being told. Is that true? Did you make them lose 80 bowls?
I also lost 96 bowls.
Yeah, boy.
If you want to learn more about that, head on over to the Gamecast when I'm hosting, or Technical Difficulties when I'm hosting, and you'll find out some more information about that. We have this really fun thing that we do on those nights, but that's all we're going to say at the moment right now. Let me head back over to my notes real quick. I wanted to ask you, is there something that you enjoy testing out more than other things? Do you have a preference when it comes to getting new products? What is your what would you almost
citrus
consider
flavors? I
citrus,
really
okay.
am excited about any new citrus. The first time I tried Bengala citrus, that was in Chicago, and my mind was blown by that flavor. It's right up there with, I don't think a lot of layman smokers can appreciate it the same way as someone who smokes a ton and knows what to look for, but it's got that, it doesn't taste anything like cashmere peach, but it's in that same zone of complexity and earthiness and spiciness as cashmere peach. But it's also a citrus flavor, which is really interesting. But citrus flavors, I always, anytime I know I'm getting a new citrus flavor that I haven't tried before, I get a little giddy, kind of like a schoolgirl. Maybe one of those schoolgirls in those like Japanese films you guys watch. I know you guys watch that shit.
Oh my gosh. Is there anything you don't like to test? Is there something particular that you're not a fan of in some way?
Yeah, sure is.
What is it?
Candy shit.
Candy. You don't like anything like if you know that a flavor is going to be more candy than it is going to be like natural tasting or something like that, are you just not a fan of the overall profile, or what is it about testing that kind of stuff out?
I am fat because I eat sweet things, right? So I get plenty of that. But when I'm smoking, I want, like, I'm a big fan of earthiness or, like, complexity. And I find that most sweet flavors lack complexity, much like most children's candies lack complexity. It's just essence of sugar and maybe Pop-Tart flavoring. It's not the greatest thing ever. That's just me. That's purely a subjective opinion. Mm-hmm. That was redundant. I said the same thing twice. I try not to do that. But, yeah, that's where I come from, and I understand that I am actually in a minority.
Yeah, I really
personally.
Exactly. I love tasting candy flavors or like very, very sweet flavors and stuff like that. When I know that I have something waiting for me that is going to be a candy flavor, I enjoy it immensely. I think that it's absolutely fantastic. Something that I don't like to test out new things of is usually Coles, in the reference of needing to give some sort of like criticism.
Feedback?
Huh?
Some feedback or critical analysis.
Exactly, because to me, and Paul will know exactly what I say by this, but like, it's all going to smoke, it's all going to work, it's all going to cook your bowl. I think that I'm just not the most down-to-earth person when it comes to charcoal. I like a good charcoal that works well, and that's what I love about not trying to blow smoke, pun intended, with the Prestige charcoal or anything, but like that's what I like about them so much, is that they're such a good quality coal that I don't have to worry about it. So like I found the one that I like, and that's what I want to stick with. Now when it comes to like trying to give feedback on other coals and stuff, like I just don't want to deal with it because I already have one that works so well. Charcoal to me is not like flavors. Once you get a good, well-made charcoal, you don't need to keep searching for another charcoal. Yes, just take over the entire thing. Oh my gosh.
So here's the thing. I did a whole 16-minute review on Prestige coconut coals, and it can all be boiled down to the simple one-sentence statement of they're consistent, they work, and they're hot.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can hit those three things, I think you're doing a good job.
I agree.
That coals they're so hard to review, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a reviewer, it's just difficult to review a coal. You have trouble finding things to say because you know pretty quickly after attaining a new brand of coal whether or not it works. There's obviously some minute things like scent, but you're going to get scent with almost any coal. Some brands, Superior, I think Superior smell like actual sewage.
Yeah.
But I had some Redbox in Chicago, pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
Fucking fine coal, right?
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the green box. I smoke hotter than most people. Jeremy, I'm second to Jeremy. That guy smokes fucking hot.
Noob Sauce smokes really hot too. I found out when I was in Vegas last time. He smokes very, very hot. That guy.
That Noob Sauce, he smokes about at the same heat I do.
Okay.
We're kind of both from the East Coast. It's really cold here.
You need that warmth. You need the warmth wherever you can get it at all. That actually feeds directly into the very last question inside of this topic, actually. At what point do you know that you've had enough testing and you can go ahead and give your idea of what you want to say about it? At what point is there enough testing for you?
When I stop having things to say about the tobacco.
Okay.
When I have that session where I find myself just zoning out and paying no attention to it, because it's basically me and my hookah have become symbiotic, and I'm smoking it, and it's part of me existing in this three-dimensional plane in case of this four-dimensional brain. Okay? Once all that's been sorted out, and my mind stopped thinking about the tobacco that I'm smoking, once my mind is clear, that's when I go, I turn that camera on, and then I do a review. That's how that happens for me. What about you, Matt?
I think I'm a little bit different in the fact that I almost feel like there's never a stopping point of being able to figure out what I want to say about a tobacco. Like, even when I finally put my review out into the open and say, like, this is my opinion, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, I'm done testing it or done trying it. It just means this is what I think about it, right? But I still have more things that, like, mature or growth or changes over time. Like, that's what I love about your Art of Hookah series, or, like, what you're going to be doing with the Starbuzz series, right? Like, we've tried these flavors to death. And we know what these flavors taste like. But, like, there's still moments where, like, criticism or feedback or thoughts can all be put out about these things, and they don't have to ever stop. And I think that's kind of where what I view about testing products. Like this peppermint shake, I love this 250 that I had. I'm just about done with it. I'll be done with it very shortly when I do the review for it. And I will say, like, this is my thought on this tobacco, right? But that doesn't mean I'm done with this tobacco. It doesn't mean that, like, I will never have anything else new or different to say about this tobacco. It's just, this is the stopping point that I'm choosing to say, like, hey, I'm not going to, like, have a big aha moment at this point. Like, now this is what I think about it, basically. Somebody just said in the chat, I'm going to try some Prestige. If you are going to try some Prestige, Nap.il, click that link in the description. Get it off of Amazon, because you're going to help out the show. I would highly recommend doing that. Prestige, the awesome
affiliate
sponsor.
Link. We are chilling, and it feels so good.
That's what I'm here for, right?
We need more reviewers, right? Like, look at the cigar community. You see all these different, like, cigars being reviewed over and over again by different people, and a lot of people pay attention because different palates matter. And there aren't very many active reviewers right now. And if you're sitting there and you've been wondering, do I do it? Should I do it? The answer is always yes.
Do it. Yeah, for sure. There's no reason not to. Put your thoughts and opinion onto the internet. And if you're a fan of the show, we'll be a fan of you for sure. Direct us towards you. If you guys do not know who Diabetes Hookah is, go and check out his stuff. He's a huge supporter of the show. I really like him as a person, and he's an active community member. Go and check out his stuff. It's very, very cool stuff that he does over there. So that's kind of going to wrap it up for the topic that we had when it comes to testing out new stuff. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was cleaning or not cleaning your hookah or your accessories of sorts. A big question more than anything is, how often do you clean your stuff, Adrian? Do you clean it pretty regularly?
Every night before I go to bed, all my hookahs are cleaned from the base all the way up to the hose port. Detailed. If it's a modular hookah, it's torn apart and detailed on the threads.
Okay. Now, is there any hookah that you don't clean, out of curiosity? Because I feel like you're a stain guy. If you guys don't know what I mean by staining, I mean you smoke one particular flavor out of one particular setup, and you let it get as into that hookah as humanly possible. What is up, Bilu, by the way? My main man's pots and pans. So nice to see you, Bilu. How are you doing?
And like spatulas.
Yeah. What? Spatulas?
And tongs. Look, I'm just naming kitchenware.
Oh my God, you caught me so off balance with that. I had no idea what was going on. But yeah, so is there any setup that you have that you use to stain for maybe double apple or a mint flavor of your choice? Is there anything that you do in that regard?
KM,
okay.
KM. But I think a better thing to stain is a hose.
Okay.
Stain your hoses, season your bowls. Your hookahs aren't going to hold stain the same way as something like clay or non-washable hose will. It's metal, right? It'll still work, but I think that sanitation is very important when you're playing with metal
and breathing.
Breathing,
breathing.
Yeah. Sanitize your metal shit.
Okay.
Season your bowls. That's where I'm at. Season your hoses. Get a hose. Get a cam rainbow hose. Don't wash it because you're not supposed to. Smoke the same thing out of it for 4 to 6 months, and then throw that fucking thing away. Unless you smoke out of it a lot, then take it down to 2 months. Like, if that's how you want to do, but don't season your silicone soft touch hoses. They're expensive. I wash this every single day.
Every day?
Every single day.
My goodness.
If you're an enthusiast, you need to keep your shit clean. This is some tech I learned from Travis Leader over at Hookah Uni. Okay. I'm sure many of you already know about this. Go to Costco, get a big-ass thing of OxyClean. Then get a little quarter scoop every time you're done with your hookah. Pour it into your base. Fill the base with hot water. In the utility sink I know you have in your utility room. Let it sit there. Detail your hookah, clean it, put it together. Go, pour it out, fill it with hot water, and pour it out 4 times. Fill it with cold water, pour it out again. Then take it out. Don't scrub it. This OxyClean is going to take everything out of the base. I don't use any scrubbing material at all on my Lux base, and it looks new. And then put your hookah together, and you know what you do? You have your hookah all set up. I put water in it, and then I set it right there with all of its buddies, right? And in the morning when I wake up, there's no, do I need to wash my hookah? No, in the morning, my coals are already on the burner, ready to go. And I'm smoking within 20 minutes of being awake.
You're a very clean guy. I gotta say, like I'm almost hesitant to say this, but like I only change out my base water every single time I smoke. I will not do a full clean of my hookah until either the 3rd. It's not usually the 4th day. That's a little extreme for me. But I'll usually smoke it like tonight, for instance. I'm smoking this hookah, right? And then tomorrow night, I will change the base water in this hookah, and then I will keep smoking it, and I won't clean the actual entire thing until the weekend, because I'll use the 3 hookahs that I have in rotation, basically. But I'll always change the base water, because I feel like that's an important thing to change out. And then I'll keep smoking the hookah. What about you guys in the chat? How often do you clean your stuff? Do you clean it all the time, periodically? Is it a regular thing that you do? Do you like to try and stain your hookahs, your hoses, or anything like that? Hoses, I clean even less frequently. I probably clean those maybe once a month or so.
Now, cleaning hoses is so easy for me.
It can be, yes. Yeah.
A little bit of lemon juice, a lot of hot water. And I have a utility sink with a literal garden hose attached to it that's cut at about 1 foot long. I just attach it to the end of my hose and run hot water after I've already doused it in a little bit of lemon juice. Run that through, and then I wash the outside because hoses should look pretty, and then I hang it up, and the next day it's good to go. You don't have to do all this stuff, though, right? Like, the main thing is, like, make sure you're staying healthy. That's what actually matters. You don't have to be an actual, like, sanitation Nazi. You don't have to do that. Like, that's not actually important. It's just I enjoy cleaning hookahs, which is why I do it so often.
Wayne just showed up. He said, hey, what's up, guys? And what is up to you as well, Wayne? He says that every 2 days is when he cleans his hookah. Justin Young just said once every 3 smokes. There's a couple other people that say a couple things similar to that as well. It looks like Nafael said earlier, a non-clay bowl. They're like $10 to $15, and they are great to stain. What are your stain flavors that you like to stain? Is it purely double apple?
Yeah, double apple. Double apple is the only flavor that's worth staining for me. All the other traditional flavors, grape, there's 2 good grapes I've had, and they're modern grapes, so I don't stain. But lemon mints you can stain. I've got a bowl that I use just for lemon mint. But those flavors are so strong that I don't feel like you get anything extra from staining. When I stain double apple, I stain with Nakla. Then I'll smoke my Alfaker. Then I'll smoke my Manzanas. Then I'll go to other flavors. But I want that earthy Nakla to be what's staining it. And it's like drinking wine or like testing out a complex flavor. You're not going to notice the difference unless you're actively looking for it.
Let's see. Pawn was one that somebody said that they like to stain for. It looks like Bracken actually said that. Rami said clean, daily clean. Come on, Matt. Once a month for a hose? That's a lot, man. I don't know. Adrian, remember we were talking about the Dashani bowl? It's stoneware, I found out. There's a new Dashani bowl that you and Nafael were talking about? What is that all about?
Yeah, and it looks like an Egyptian bowl. It's got 4 holes at the bottom. It's pretty deep, and I'm willing to put a lot of money on it's a really good Naka double apple bowl if it's made of the correct material. Stoneware would be the correct material.
An unglazed stone bowl sounds very interesting, actually. I don't think I've ever seen an unglazed. Oh, I guess a Stone Hookah has a unglazed one.
They make unglazed bowls,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, okay, they do. Let's see. Hookah Fiend says hoses every week. I change the water daily is what somebody just said. So I feel a little bit better here. I don't feel like I must be super dirty or anything just for changing the water. I think that that's an okay normal thing. Cam says that he smokes something else. I'm not going to read that out loud. You crazy
Me
man.
too, Cam. Me too. We're in Michigan. It gets boring here. It's cold. You know what? You know when you're not cold, when you're smoking.
Anyways, so going through the rest of these things, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on how you like to clean. I agree with what you just said, Adrian, earlier about how it's almost, I view it as being very therapeutic to sit there and clean all my hookah stuff, right? Like when I have 3 hookahs that I need to clean, when I have like 7 bowls that I need to clean, it's actually really nice to just sit there in front of my sink, put on some music or a YouTube video, relax, and just get everything nice and clean. That's something that I really enjoy doing.
My favorite thing is the drying and assembly process. Like when I'm done with my matte pair, I detail the magnets and everything. And I'll sit there, I'll lay out a soft cloth, I'll sit down in silence. And in my own tranquility, I will detail my hookah and put it back together. I think there's something to be said for it. Look at gun owners. I think a lot of the big gun guys, they really enjoy doing shit with their guns. Yeah. I don't own guns. I got a lot of kitchen knives, but I don't own any guns. So I wouldn't know. But I imagine I know a guy, my buddy, his name's Eric. He has guns. He loves to clean them. He loves to take them apart and stare at the pieces. I think it's probably the same thing for me.
It's another one of those just ritual type things, right? Like loading the bowl, getting the hookah ready is a ritual type thing. Cleaning all that stuff is also very ritual and stuff. I think that those things are really fun in that respect because it gives you a time to kind of like break stuff down and be very into your hobby. And I think that's very nice actually. And it's actually super good to do. Robert does say that he rinses every other day. I believe, Robert, me and you were talking one time on maybe it was the Gamecast or the technical difficulties or something, but I believe he says he never cleans his hoses, ever, which I think is kind of interesting. You're not going to break your silicone hoses, but I do think that you would start to get a little grummy. I clean my hoses, especially if I ever notice that there's a little bit of moisture inside of it in any way. Then I definitely start cleaning and give it a nice, good, thorough cleaning and stuff like that.
They're so easy to wash, silicone hoses.
Yeah.
So there's just no good reason not to.
Now,
like they come apart, you can take the. Well, I don't want to put this back in. You can take the handle out, wrap it up, leave it in the sink with some OxyClean, baby. It's fine.
Now, you were talking about OxyClean. You talked about lemon juice a little bit earlier. What are some of the things that you use when it comes to actually cleaning your hookah? Is there any like tips or tricks or anything that you've learned over the years? What do you do for cleaning?
HMDs use coal.
Okay. Yeah.
I use a cube coal. I've been using the Prestige cube coals to do it. You can use one. For every HMD cleaning session, just use hot water and scrub it like you would with a scour pad. I don't know what the science is. I don't know what the trigonometry, what the chemistry, what the calculus is for cleaning your hookah HMDs with coals. But I learned it in Chicago, and I've been doing it ever since. And my HMDs, boy, did they look good. Scour pads for bowls. I don't baby my bowls. They're tools. The only bowls that I baby are the ones that are like high-end collector's bowls. But my Surrey, when that thing stops being usable, I'm going to buy another Surrey. Mm-hmm. It's a tool. Scour pads. I think the biggest thing is like specifically one of the steel wool scour pads are very good for me because I see some people leaving char lines on their bowl, and I don't think it affects anything, but I think it looks tacky. I like to get the char lines right off the bowl. That's just my personal preference.
Now, do you use any salt when you clean your hookahs?
No.
Really, I use the kosher salt. I use the really thick grain and stuff like that. I'll put some salt down. I'll plug up both sides and I'll put some hot water in it, and I'll just do the shaky shake to make it nice and clean, and then I just keep rinsing it until it's completely clear and stuff like that. I don't do that as much now that I don't do it with KMs, but I used to do it with my KMs and my Egyptian pipes a lot more in comparison. Nowadays, I just run it with some hot water. Somebody in the chat asked, is it okay to use some hand soap when it comes to cleaning your bowl or your hookahs and stuff like that? I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as you give it a really nice deep clean, because you will
I don't
taste
know if it
soap.
Works very well though.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, it should help with grime if there's any grime inside of it. If it's regular old hand soap and stuff like that, I don't see why it wouldn't work.
All things said, I think you're exactly right, Matt. I think the most important thing is like, you don't want bubbles in the base. I mean, you do, but not that kind of bubbles. Yeah. So, make sure to get all of it out there. Same thing with OxyClean. Don't leave any OxyClean in the base when you're done rinsing it out.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Make sure that you just use a lot of water. Rinse it until it's completely cleaned out. I heard someone use rice one time. Rice seems interesting. It's not a grain in the sense that it's like jaggedy, right? Like that's why salt works so well. There's so many jagged ends to the salt piece, and that's why it'll really scrub on the inside of it if you don't have like a pipe brush or anything. But I guess you could technically use rice. I just don't know how well that would work.
Pipe brushes, though.
Yes. There you go.
Those are important. Just go on Amazon. Maybe we should affiliate link some pipe brushes, dude. 100% shill. They're really good. Actually, there's no affiliate. Just go to Amazon, search up pipe brush cleaning kit. Mm-hmm. And the one that I get every couple of months, I get off of there. There's a huge one for the base. I don't use brushes on bases anymore, like I was saying. But if you do, you can do it that way. And it comes with a couple of really long ones, long and thick, just like I like them.
Okay, so also
moving on, clean the stem of your hookah.
So Cam just said that if y'all have a Provost and it's dirty, use hot sauce. Seriously, it works. What kind of hot sauce are you using, Cam? I can never tell if Cam is being serious or if he's trolling, obviously. So, like, what kind of hot sauce are you recommending us use? Are you saying, like, Tabasco, Frank's Red Hot? Like, what are you saying we should use to clean?
Los Calientes?
Yeah.
What are we doing here, man?
What are we using to clean our Provost if we're using hot sauce? It seems like an interesting idea. I mean, it might work. I'm not going to diss it, but I do want to hear more about it and find out exactly what it is that it works with. There's a lot of other comments in the chat that I'm not going to read at the moment. I used to use lemon juice.
Cheers!
I used to use lemon juice when cleaning hookahs. I don't really do that anymore. I feel like hot water is sufficient enough, especially because you can get it nice and hot and stuff, and there's never been a big issue with that. But yeah, so cleaning the hookah, obviously super important to do unless you're looking to try and stain something in some way. According to Cam, any hot sauce, he doesn't know what the science is, but it removes the char and the black spots on it. That's interesting. I will
really?
look into that. Yeah.
I wonder if it's like ketchup. I wonder if it's kind of like how ketchup does brass pipes really well.
Yes. Can you talk about that?
There's something to the actual whatever. There's like probably some type of like acidic element to the sauce, and it probably takes care of that. I bet that's what it is.
Can you talk on that a little bit? Like, what do we use ketchup to clean exactly?
Specifically my KM, because the KMs, they start to oxidize kind of. You know what I'm talking about. Especially the KMs that come oxidized. We all get rid of the oxidation at some point unless we're collecting them and not smoking out of them. Mm-hmm. But my KM at one point was my daily driver. So eventually the oxidation started to wear off as I cleaned it and stuff. And now I use ketchup. And it basically makes it look like a brand new KM ferrous oxide.
Very nice.
So...
yeah, so if you're ever wanting to get that sparkle or that shine back to your KM, use ketchup. It sounds crazy, but it is in fact very true. Austin C just said use 710 cleaner. They have a blue bottle with a little silicone abrasive crystals, and they also have a yellow bottle 710 cleaner without abrasive crystals. Both types are reusable.
Nice. There you go. There's the tech.
Yeah, there you go. You can find some more information just by searching 710 cleaner. Your number one 710 cleaner podcast right here.
And yeah, Paul, you can use cola to clean because you can use cola to rust your vehicle. So you can definitely clean with cola. Yes. I think it's dead on. I think you can actually use a cola to get a really good clean, especially on a metal pipe.
Oh my gosh.
I'm serious. I think it works really well.
Oh, I just read the comments. I didn't know what to say. It caught me by surprise. Okay. It caught me really, really by surprise. Good job, Hookah Fiend. You caught me by surprise once again. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. We're getting close to the end of the show. We really do appreciate you guys stopping in, being a part of the show. If you guys have any questions that you want to throw out here at the very end of it, just drop a little question mark in front of it. We'll see it here on screen, and we will talk about those as well. But while we are ending the show, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, obviously, Prestige Bubbles. I use the Jumbo Flats, like that's what I talk about most, but their cube coals are actually very good as well. I've used them many times as well. They're very, very good coals. They're the sponsor of the show, of the what we're smoking, and then also the show in general as well. Look at that. How can you not want that? That just looks like an awesome look. Yeah, exactly. Listen to it. No. Here we go. Uh-oh. What's going to happen now?
Nothing, man. You're talking about Prestige, and I'm here showing them the Prestige.
Make sure you go down to the description down below, go into that affiliate link that we have set up with Amazon so you guys are able to go and check out, go and get that stuff, help support the show out a little bit, obviously. Another good way that you can help support the show is by subbing and sharing, liking the show, obviously. If you listen to us in an audio format, make sure you sub to those different places as well. We really do appreciate it.
And come check us out on YouTube, because that's home.
Yes, that is our home. We are on Twitch. I never check the Twitch chat, which I probably should one of these days. That'd be like the right thing to do. I just need to assign that to either Bracken or to Austin. You guys from now on...
Yeah, give our unpaid partners more work.
Yes, exactly. That's what well, whoever gets that job is going to have a real easy time because we don't get a whole lot of comments from it. But it might be because we don't talk about it very much. Therefore, there's not a lot going on over on Twitch. But if you guys use Twitch and you want to be noticed, that might be a very good way to do it because there's not a whole lot of activity happening over on the Twitch side of things. Bracken says, let's hit 500 subs. That is the goal. That is what we want to see happen for this show.
I'm thinking... Okay, so we got this bowl. This is off the top of my head. I haven't talked to Matt, Bracken, or Austin about this. But off the top of my head, I got this thing where, like, we use this bowl currency for the Gamecast, right? Which is this interesting thing that's probably going to find its way over to the main podcast. If you don't know about it, go check out the Gamecast. I watch Matt's Gamecast just because I'm trying to get my bowls collected. We're probably going to be using them for maybe giveaways in the future. That could be really cool.
Probably.
Maybe if you can get someone to sub, we can give some type of, maybe we either enter for some type of a giveaway, or maybe we like assign some number of bowls to be used. Maybe you need a certain number of bowls to enter a specific giveaway for something kind of big. Nothing for sure yet, so don't do it yet, but keep that in the back of your mind because now I'm going to talk to the guys about it, and maybe we can get something really cool going, or if you shill us out, we'll pay you with the chance to win something cool. You're not going to get anything for real except for one of you, but it's the chance. It's the hype.
Yeah.
It's fake currency. We're tricking you.
It's really. Cryptocurrency is what it is. We are creating our own cryptocurrency here. And if you want some of your own cryptocurrency, you got to head over to the Gamecast when I'm hosting, or the technical difficulties when I'm hosting. One of these days we'll bring it over to the main channel. We're still testing it out, learning how to do things. You didn't see it last time, Adrian, I don't think, but on the technical difficulty show that we did on Friday, because I hosted actually, we did these mini games inside of the show. We did this heist game where everybody had an opportunity to help rob a bank. We also did this free-for-all, which is like a battle royale type thing. It was super fun. It was super exciting. And I think that there's some fun things that we can be doing with these bowls. Merchandise, promotions, giveaways, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, very, very cool things that we want to see happen in the future. If you do want to support us in another way, you can head on over to our Teespring. You can buy a shirt. You can buy a hoodie. You can buy socks like Mr. Bracken Cox. Mr. Bracken Cox got himself some socks, and he loves those socks. He did not put them through the shredder like he said he was going to because of reasons. Yeah, he's holding them right there. There they are. They're not shredded. I can see them. You guys can't, but I promise you, he's flopping them around like some big floppy socks. Mr. Cox he has them over his shoulder right now. They fit him. They fit him real good. I don't want to know why you do that. I don't. Okay.
Put your shirt back up. No, Bracken, we got to end this.
This is getting weird. This is getting. You can find us all over the internet, Adrian. If people want to find you on the internet, where can they do that?
Do you like hookah reviews, unboxings, maybe even tutorials? Maybe you want to watch me stand there and act like an asshole for 20 minutes. Go check me out at Pipe Dream Hookah on YouTube, and maybe I'll do some ASMR videos. Maybe we'll talk about hookah real quiet. Get a binaural microphone, and we'll talk about hookah, and I can tell you what you can smoke.
And then if you
tickling my ears
on Instagram, that's _Pipe Dream. Same thing as Twitter. And if you want to find me on Facebook,
if you find me on Facebook, you can DM me. We can talk a little bit about some stuff that maybe isn't hookah related. My name's Adrian Hunter, and my face looks like this. Matt, where can we find you?
Oh my God, that is tickling my ears. Don't do that anymore, please. It makes me feel weird inside. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, you can find me on the internet, too. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Matt Dezen. You can find me on Twitter, @OnlyMattDezen. You can find me on Instagram, @OnlyMattDezen. You can also find the entire AM Hookah family of different things going on the internet as well over on Twitter, @only AM Hookah Podcast. You can find us at Instagram as well, AM Hookah Podcast. We have a Facebook group, and we have a Facebook page. Make sure you join those and like those, be a part of them. We like to have a lot of really interesting conversations on both those places. You found us right here on our home, here on YouTube. Obviously, we love being here at youtube.com/AM Hookah. You can also find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/AM Hookah as well. Make sure you tune in on Wednesdays for the Gamecast. Make sure you tune in on Friday for technical difficulties. I don't know what we're going to be doing this week for the Gamecast or for technical difficulties, Adrian. Do you think that you're going to be hosting either one of those this week? What do you think?
I think I would, if I had my choice, I would like to host, I'd like to host technical difficulties. Oh, no, you know what? I'd like to host the Gamecast this time because that's when I did those technical difficulties. Maybe you could play some Duck Game. Maybe I'll play some Magic the Gathering.
Maybe we could all play some duck game.
Maybe we could get together and play some duck game, and Bracken can lose all of his 0 bowls.
Yeah, maybe that's what we could do. We could play some duck game. If you guys are interested in playing some duck game with us, go and check out Steam and find duck game, and we will do a duck game night.
Bracken's gonna kick my ass, dude. Maybe I shouldn't go to Florida this year.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm worried for you now. Oh my gosh, that face that he's making. If only you guys could see it. I don't know if he's frozen in time right now. That's what it looks like. He's scary. But yeah, you can check out Gamecast is a show where we play games. We talk about hookah stuff. We have a good old fun time. Technical difficulties, we break things down a little bit more, go into a deep dive into different things. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you're enjoying it. Let us know in the comments down below. We didn't get to talk about your LaCroix. Are you drinking some LaCroix?
Today's LaCroix pairing is LaCroix passion fruit. Why? It's what I bought from Meyer.
Exactly.
Sorry, I forgot to do that today.
Our unofficial sponsor, LaCroix, obviously. Hit us up, talk to us. We'll get you in on the show. Don't worry about that at all. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We appreciate it, as always. And until next time...
Happy smoking, everybody.